so that I've got 2 separate episodes to upload. So let me just close that down and bring up week 3. Our week 3 highlights now. As we come into week 3, we've now got a different situation because now everyone's got some results on the board. Everyone's played at least one game. So right at the top of that tree, the only undefeated team, we've got Dodge Another Day with 2 wins out of 2. We've got Dodger More or Less with a win, 100% record again. We've got Lethal Is Not Enough with a win, and again from 1. And then we're going down into the rest of the teams. So tied at 1 apiece are from Death World with Love, Catches Galore, and Foils Are Forever. And on Her Majesty's Secret Outpost.
I was going to say, you can't forget my team.
Well, sometimes I might accidentally, but not on purpose.
You wonder why all those events happened. This is why.
This is why. Future-proofing the karma. That's fair. And then right down at the bottom, without a win to their name, is License to Overkill and Through to a Kill.
Yes.
So, ironically, both the sides that have kill in their name.
Hold their luck.
It's just what happens, right? So, this is where we get some drama. So this week.
Oh yeah.
Time
for the drama llama.
In for the drama llama. In for the soap opera action. We heard. In one team chat, there was the immortal words uttered, "I don't mean to be cocky, but they don't look that intimidating." So,
Can I guess what happened to that team?
You would not be wrong if you were to guess what happened to the team of the player who uttered those words.
I'm guessing total team kill.
Total annihilation.
Yeah.
Yes, Pork and Beans is in fact correct. They got wrecked.
Yeah.
And a captain was also heard to complain. So are we throwing random formats now? So if you've got any stories like that, just to reiterate that we in the Thunderballs Are Go studio would be delighted to hear your tales of woe, humor, hubris, like whatever you've got. Just send them in because
any sort of random rumors, conjecture. I'll be real honest. I don't even care if it's true, just as long as it's funny.
If you hadn't mentioned that, I was going to bring it up, but absolutely, Al doesn't care about the veracity. He just wants the tea.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So yeah, just a reminder, srdbtackler@gmail.com is where you can send that tea to.
And I will put that in the chat.
Yeah, because discretion is our middle name.
That's right.
So, this week's matches. Game 1, we're up with Lethal Is Not Enough, captained by Darklighter, versus Catches Galore, captained by Alboa. We've got License to Overkill, winless, taking on From Deathworld with Love. We've got Foils Are Forever against Dodge Another Day. And we've got Winless Through to a Kill versus Dodger More or Less. So let's go straight into Game 1, Al. Lethal Is Not Enough versus Catches Galore.
This was a marathon. This was and just messy all around.
It was very messy. I mean, I try to go through each game and kind of pick out highlights and this was a catastrophe of non-reported games on Facebook, like balls flying left and right at high speed. I mean, to start with, Bork the Yoshi was absolutely obsessed with Captain Yarbs. They threw at her 5 times before finally kicking them to the bench, which is quite a fixation.
Yeah.
Steph, I feel like Steph was trying to recreate her form from maybe round 1. She went straight in for 2 kills, but again was waylaid by Beans and Yoshi, having been deemed too dangerous to live. Then we see JP runs funny, very much reminiscent of Compton P in the previous round, finding like a heroic rear guard action, very, very Colossus-like. and he was the last man standing, trying to take as many of the enemy team with him on the way before succumbing to you guessed it, balk and ride.
Can I just point out that I found it extremely interesting that the two slowest players were naturally the two last men standing. Like, I can't imagine watching those last games back and forth. It must have been watching that the rewind in slow motion.
Your suggestion there was a glacial nature to this game. If they were Pokemon, they'd both be ice types. Is that what we're going with, Al?
Did this game end after 1 week, or did it spill over into this week?
So it did spill over.
Yeah, there's your answer right there.
It did spill over, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm missing my guess here. This was the first game that went to overtime.
Yes, it was the first one this season to go to overtime.
It was so long, everybody knocked everybody else out, and then it went in. Oh no, sorry, that's not this one, is it? No, it is JP. It's this one. This is the game. Yeah. So this is the game where it went to overtime, and
everyone had to get racy again.
JP got them there. JP got them into overtime, having lost his race. He got them into overtime. Another chance at redemption. And did he? How did he do? Like that heroic last stand, Al? Did that G him up for his race?
It did they win any races at all?
Well, they didn't win enough. Because Darklighter's races were just a bit faster off their marks. So you know, it's kind of heartbreaking when you do all that work
and then it just goes away on you.
I was chatting to the commissioner earlier on, and this game, he said, reminded him very much of the finals of season 4, where the whole thing was decided on a race-off.
Right.
And it's times like this where, you know, going back to Mkolo, those race statistics matter. Getting good races.
I remember when you were a captain, you focused on those race stats a lot more than anybody else, I think, ever did.
Yeah. And using them as like a tiebreaker within tiers to make sure that I was, you know, if you don't give your opponents a chance to hold the ball, they can't get you out with hits. But you know, congrats to Darklighter and his team. They got the win there. It was a tight game.
It was tight.
But you know, those games sometimes are the most satisfying if you're on the right side of them, obviously. Now on to License to Overkill.
Wait, are we not having an MVP?
Oh, sorry, no, I forgot. We've got the MVP.
I mean, the game lasted so long, you could just forget that part. But
and I did.
We gotta. I mean, JP put on a huge performance, and if he was on the winning team, easily
same conversation, right? If he was on the winning side, yeah.
But he wasn't, and so we got to do Ride the Beans.
Ride the Beans.
2 race wins, 4 hits, a catch.
Those are great numbers.
Yeah, great numbers.
Absolutely. So on to that's right, book the ride. MVP announcement halfway through the next match rundown. That's how we roll, Simon. You know, total professionalism.
Yeah.
Now game 2, License to Overkill versus Death World with Love. Now, you know, Alderin's team quite want to push the rules envelope. Let's see what happens in this round. Now, I think the races were pretty uneventful, but Patriarch blistering out of the blocks, immediately seeing the danger posed by Super Grandma and Zwivix, and taking them out before anyone else has even cast a ball.
I mean, I knew Patriarch was good. I didn't realize he was this good to just knock those 2 players out like that. That
ain't no thing.
Yeah.
Ain't no thing. Just kill him. And then Agent Sato, watching the unfortunate PC load letter get an ass clowning and tuna slapping, he then went on an absolute rampage. He caught Big Daddy 215. And then he ruthlessly cut down Bahamut and Agent C13. So almost tit for tatting Patriarch's good work from the start of the match.
Right.
And all of this happens before Mighty Stig has even finished winning his race for the ball. That's right,
that's the
folks.
thing is, as much as I love to make fun of both Ride the Yoshi or Pork and Beans and JP for playing slowly, they are nothing compared to the original slow player in the Mighty Stig.
The slowly Stig.
The Mighty Slow.
5 people have been eliminated, and the guy hasn't even got his bull yet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just astounding.
That's pretty impressive.
And then honestly, we can kind of wind forward to the end of the match because it's really not that far.
No, it's not that far from
it's
that.
not that far. Guianos saw Patriarch get revived by his captain and cheekily tried to send him back to the bench, but unfortunately lost his ball and whilst distracted is hit by Alderin. So that's, if I'm Simon, I'm feeling pretty bad about myself right there, right?
Yeah.
And then Sato again, name comes up, last man standing, rearguard action, not enough to remove Tuna Slap's license to overkill as he succumbs to the fish slap. So Tuna having the last laugh in that game.
Yeah.
So again there, license to overkill coming in with 0 wins, but finally getting on the board. So they got to feel a bit better about themselves after round 3 there. Who was your MVP for that match, Al?
I am going for Patriarch 215. Doug just put in a great performance. He got his race win. He got 2 very early hits that just sort of really built momentum for his team. And then he got a catch later. Like I said, Doug is a good player. I didn't expect this kind of performance out of him, especially against the team that he was facing, which is so tough. So to see him do that was just awesome. Playing, just really hitting above his weight class and doing an amazing job.
And can't be overstated how important it is to build momentum early on. And that's what Doug did right there, was like get 2 wins under the belt, 2 for no reply is a solid way to start any match.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next game, we've got Foils Are Forever Thestrals against Dodge Another Day, Corey Bear. Now Corey Bear's team undefeated going into this. Always a good but potentially tough place to be because there's only one way from there.
Right, exactly.
And Tatiana began the match by cheekily, Tatiana Locks, I'm going to call her, because she had a cheeky little story for Corey Bear stealing his porridge. Won the first race and got us off to a slightly zesty beginning in the chat. Now, Rip, seeing the danger from Chasmo, and we already saw last week, like in round 2, Chasmo getting the kind of performance of the round. Rip having absolutely none of that, catching him and sending him straight to the bench to hand out the cookies, but not before Corey Bear. Not before Chasmo claimed Corey Bear with his zombie ball.
Right, sort of took a token back with him to the bench in the head of Corey Bear.
Yeah, gotta decapitate that captain as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Now, I did also reading through the thread of this one. I did see a delightful story emerge between Penguin Army and Markbot. They seem to do like this dance where Markbot would avoid everything anyone threw at him.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, he wasn't necessarily taking names himself. He was just like, it was like a conveyor belt for the balls, and wherever he threw them, they seemed to end up in Penguin Army's hands. And then Penguin Army it was just like someone had stole his fish. He was like a monster. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, Penguin Army.
It was ridiculous.
Penguin Army, not someone I've had the pleasure of crossing swords with much, but I think, Al, you've spent some time against him in BGG and the like, right?
Yeah, I've played against him in BGG in the Platinum League. He knows what he's doing. He's a solid player. I said during the draft, It would be real interesting to see where he goes because he may not be familiar to a lot of the dodgeball players or the community on Facebook as much, but a very strong player and deceptively good. So it was interesting to see him sort of one get taken by Corey Bear so early, but then also to really sort of prove Corey Bear right by living up to that draft pick.
Absolutely, because there's the temptation that, and certainly in Corey's shoes, it would have been perfectly forgivable to try and kind of massage Penguin Army down one slot because maybe no one takes him.
Right.
But I think in the draft it ended up that probably wouldn't have happened because I think a couple of other people were perfectly aware of how good the Penguin and his army was. But yeah, it's now at this point I've really got to mention the chutzpah of Captain Corey because he messaged me during this week saying, "Mark me, we've just caught Dakaran, and I'm going to eliminate. I'm calling for his elimination, leaving only Imam 69.
Yes.
Facing the rest of my team."
Yes.
Now that goes one of two ways, right? And usually it only goes one way.
Right.
Usually that's
Imam
when
by herself, she ascends to another level and suddenly becomes
Cyan.
the Tasmanian devil of dodgeball.
Yeah, Super Cyan 69. However, that was not what happened because the Penguins simply would not be denied. Finally getting Imam 69 and ending the match with a third win in a row for Dodge Another Day.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly showing that they are not messing around.
No, very scary team.
Very scary. Now, some good performances in that match, Al, but where do you feel the MVP sits?
I have to go with Rip on this one.
Okay.
He had a hit.
Yeah.
But then he had 2 catches. But then he won every one of his defensive games. That means never got hit, never even got close to, he won every ball that was thrown at him, he was able to field and win.
Yeah. And that shovels again, if your opponents haven't got the ball, they can't win. Shoveling that ball, that possession, really, really important. A great choice. And then finally, we move to game 4, and that's through to a kill versus Dodger, more or less. So this again is my team. Now the races in this match were marred by a comedy of errors. I definitely want to point out my race with Sable, where I didn't tell my captain at the time, but now it'll come out that I totally misplayed and missed lethal or missed getting a mission, as it were.
Oops.
And looking at the comments, there was a definite theme. About 3 or 4 of those races were basically farces, with plenty of players just not paying any attention to what was going on. In fact, I think one player was even going for the wrong ball, but there we go. Acox barely even knew what ball he'd won. The only thing he knew that and could get right was who he wanted to throw it at, sending Slavic immediately to the bench before taking away Clever Missy's ball, again respecting the previous round and making sure that Missy couldn't do anything.
Right.
Then you had this quiet Daryl just sat on ball 7 all game.
Yeah.
And he'd throw it, he'd knock someone out, he'd throw it again, he'd knock another person out, and pretty quickly it was down to Catch, Bella, and Acox, taking on the duo of Clever Missy and Seabus. Took them to the cleaners, finished the match, before DG3, adding insult to injury, hit the back of Seabus's head as he was on his way to the bench. Now, are there fouls in dodgeball, Al? Is that
we call that a double tap?
Okay, yeah.
I believe it was most popularized by the previous host of this show, Luke, the Real Void Mars. And he, it was unclear if he just enjoyed the insult to injury by double tapping his opponent, or if he just had trouble reading the spreadsheet and couldn't remember who had been hit and targeted already. But either way, yes, that was a thing.
Yeah. I can neither confirm nor deny the amount of attention that Luke paid to anything that was not rebound report related.
That's yeah.
So the MVP for this match, Al. There's a couple of options, but who are you picking?
There's a few, but you got to go DG3.
Yeah.
He won his race. He went 4 for 4, I believe.
He did. Yeah.
I know he got 4 hits, but I think it was on just 4 throws.
It was on 4 throws. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hitting perfect, and he was still alive at the end of the match. And I think, did he win all of his games?
100% of his games. He won
100% of his games.
and he threw 4
that's
balls.
an A+ effort right there.
Yeah, it's a special one right there. Now, performance of the round, Al. Where's this going? Because there were some outstanding performances in round 3.
There were. I'm gonna go for JP Runs Funny.
Okay.
He won his race. He got 3 hits. He got 3 catches. He avoided 6 throws at him. I mean, the only thing he didn't do was win.
Oh, the last race.
The last race.
Right. Arguably the most important one.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but everything else. So, consolation prize, your MVP of the round.
But I mean, like, being thrown at 10 times and avoiding 6 of those while
and wait a minute.
catching.
He won a race, didn't
he? He didn't win a race.
He did win a race, but was it the first race or the second race?
Oh, it wasn't the second race.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Okay.
Now our Moneyball Award.
Yeah.
So again, just to remind everyone, this is the player whose performance for the round provided the most value compared to their draft position.
We're gonna go with Acox89. He was another 5th round pick.
Yeah.
This one for Vori Zori's team. He won his race. He got a hit. He got a catch. He got a dodge, and he won every game he was in.
I mean, that's
just beautiful consistency. From a 5th round pick to get that kind of consistency, that's gross.
That's absolutely that's big money. Big money balls.
Yeah.
So end of round 3, how do we feel the season's going so far, Al? Because we're currently in round 4, right? That's what's going on.
We are in round 4.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have any team looking for the first win. Everybody's got at least 1 win now, right?
Yes, because Through to a Kill and License to Overkill got the monkey off their back with the win. So no one.
I mean, Dodge Another Day is undefeated, and I don't like that one bit.
They're 3-0 right now, so
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that makes for a pretty fun season in that nobody is winless. So there's still a lot of bunching up. So we're still far ways away from the end of the season. It's still could be anyone's game.
Yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of teams who are going to be on 2 wins there. So there's, Dodge Another Day just need 1 slip. That's all. And let's not forget they haven't taken their rest week yet. So they're gonna look, slightly better than other teams who, have taken their rest weeks early. But yeah, a 3-0 is a commanding lead at this stage.
Commanding, but not
insurmountable.
Not insurmountable. Yeah.
So how did you feel your week? Your game went. No spoilers, Al. But how have you been enjoying your week this week?
I've been enjoying it. I won a few games. I am currently riding the pine, waiting for my team to finish it out.
Yeah.
Um, I'm hopeful we'll secure the win, but it's it's still fun. Dodgeball is still just a lot of fun. Um, so I'm having a lot of fun playing and hanging out with people and interacting and finding new and interesting ways to report hits, dodges, and catches.
For me, it's all about the story. I always try and put a sprinkle of flavor for the
Oh
person
yeah.
that I'm playing with. This week I've had the pleasure of crossing swords with PC Load Letter, and that was some fun times. Jason's a stand-up fella, and there may or may not have been some clown gifts, going left and right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. But no,
I
it's
mean, yeah, dodgeball is just a great excuse to use as many gifts as possible. I believe at one point playing against Corey Bear, he's like, "Well, I may have beaten you in that game, but you still beat me in the gift game."
but
And I was like, "No one can ever take that away from me."
no one beats you in the gift game, though, Al. That's
No,
like that day will never come. That's
no.
that's like the four riders of the apocalypse. That's one of those signs. If Al ever loses at the gift game, then we all better watch ourselves because the end is near.
This is true.
This is very true.
I'm glad my film degree is finally, being useful.
It's finally paying off in spades. Not
Exactly.
necessarily in your
My parents
Thunderballs
are
Are Go
so proud for
wages.
paying for that.
Oh, you've gone a bit fuzzy on the video.
Ooh.
I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Let me.
Ooh.
No, that's really strange. Oh well. Well, I mean that's probably a good time to leave it as well. You're
Yeah.
you're turning into what can only be described as a pixel nightmare. And we have covered both weeks 2 and 3 in the Dodgeball League.
So maybe we'll actually be caught up for week 4.
Maybe we will be caught up for week 4, and I don't know whether we'll have a set time, a set day, whether we'll just play it by ear as we have been doing. I felt it important to get caught up today because I didn't really want to go into round 5 having only done week
Right.
one's refresh. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see. Well, are you going to stop going on vacation?
I have now finished all of my vacation. There is no
Okay.
more.
Then we
Uh,
then we should be okay.
there should be no barrier to our
Though I
successes.
will say my vacation time is coming up in the next few weeks because I have both Gen Con and Origins to go to. So
Ooh, fun.
either that or we'll just do some remote reporting
Yeah,
from
we
the
could
convention.
we could work something out there and maybe have some guest interviews as well.
Yeah, if you think this is horrifying, packet of pixels, just wait until I try to do this off my phone on public Wi-Fi at a gaming convention.
True, a true horror story in the making.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks very much for joining us for Thunderballs Or Go. I've been Hypaspist. This has been Silent Al, and we'll see you next week when we catch up with round 4 of the Star Realms Dodgeball League Season 7.
Yes.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you,
coming.
everyone, for tuning in.
Yeah, uh, and yeah, keep throwing those dodgeballs, talking that smack, and remember, gifts and story are super important.
I'm back. No, I'm gone again.
You're gone again. It's too late.
But and don't forget to send us any sort of fun,
Yeah,
sassy drama.
srdbtackler@gmail.com.
Yes.
We really want your juicy tea. So make sure that you send that in. And yeah, and we'll see you next week for more Star Realms Dodgeball Roundup.